Hello, Tangerine. Like sometimes, bro, I don't even know.
Let's do a
Tony.
quick inquisition.
Yeah, so obviously right here I'm playing Blasphemous, which is a game I
Yep.
started playing a while ago. Was because not only did I wanted to play it on my Steam Deck, but I also wanted to play it um, to test out installing other third-party launchers on my Steam Deck. So I actually installed this game. I got it free on Amazon through Twitch Prime. So I actually installed this game through the Amazon games launcher thing they have, which I ended up installing through Lutris, which ended up
Right.
pretty seamless, just adding that to Steam and then launching it through there. But then there was also a
Yeah.
Decky plugin called Playtime, which I was using to track my playtime of the game as well. That actually worked very well, which was really really cool to see. But
Yeah.
I then decided, because I wanted to play it on my Steam Deck, but I also wanted to play it on my PC as well. And I found a way to like sync the saves over, but it was in like a very manual way. So I actually ended up just in the sale. I actually ended up just buying this on Steam. I just got it on Steam. I think it was
Okay.
like a
Just play it again.
pound or a couple. It was like £2 or £3 or something like that on sale, right? I think it's on sale right now, actually.
Shoot. Oh, is it again? But yeah, I think it goes sell a lot, and it's pretty cheap to begin with, isn't it?
I'll just like come out and say straight away, playing this game makes me want to play Blasphemous 2 because this game is so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just probably some of the best like pixel art I've seen in a long time. Like it's genuinely like so good looking while also being like horrifying in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Blasphemous.
Yeah.
Like Blasphemous has
Dark, dark and grim.
dark like gothic style. Like playing this
Yeah.
game, I was saying to you, like this game feels very Spanish to me in a lot of ways. Like you have that like that soft guitar in the back, like it almost reminds me of
Yeah. I never really
Hispanic
thought of it like
games
that. But
like
yeah, you're right.
Guacamelee. Yeah, almost
Yeah.
like because this game is very much a Metroidvania as well.
Hmm.
Which is really really cool to see, because I wouldn't say it's not like there are parts of the map you just cannot go without certain items, which is very interesting. There's not like really like, oh, you need a double jump to get to this area, but it's more like this area is full of poison, you need a way to deal with the poison, is more so with
Yeah.
this
I
game.
I kind of like that over like this, just a door that you need to like a key. Like I like the whole like
Oh,
this area has this
there's
mechanic you
doors
need
with
to deal with the.
keys that you can find in the
Oh
game.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I just prefer the mechanic of you have to deal with this area mechanic.
But speaking of this game being very Spanish, like it has that almost like Spanish Catholicism to it.
Yeah,
You know, like
massive.
I was saying to you before, like Sagrada Familia, like that big church in Spain, in like Barcelona. Like this whole game just
Yeah,
reminds me of that building. If you know what I'm talking about, look up Sagrada Familia. Like that building is just
just
like
just
it's
like Barcelona
nuts.
Cathedral, you'll find what you're looking for.
Yeah, like it
It's
just.
pretty distinct.
But yeah, I decided I wanted to get this on Steam because with all great Metroidvania games, one of the biggest issues of Metroidvania games is if you stop playing them for a while, it becomes quite hard to pick them up again.
Yep,
And
it's a huge problem.
I decided to pick it up again, start playing again, and I was very confused for a little bit, and then immediately I got back into it and was like, okay, I know what's going on. I feel like early game I had no fucking idea what's going on, because throughout the game you're just picking up like these things. It's like, oh, the tibia of Sir Brian and stuff. It's just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is going? And it has a lot of those items where it's not instinctively clear what it is in a gamified way. It's like, oh, you found the lock of hair. And it's like, well, what do I do with that? And it's like, well, you got to figure that out, right? Like, it's very like,
Yeah, it comes later.
it's like half Souls, half Metroidvania, I would say, this game.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Souls
yeah.
is
In
very
terms
much a
of, like,
game where
map.
it's... Souls is very much like a very light game in terms of direction, where it's not like, here's
Yeah.
a tutorial, here's where you need to go, go here and do this. Oh, here's the gamified item. Here's the health item. This gives you more health. This is the mana item. It gives you more. This is more like you need to give the sacred hair to this cleric because he wants it for this ritual, and that's something you got to figure out by talking to him and seeing what he wants. But yeah, just to say, if you start finding a bunch of like bones, yeah, there's a reason you find like these weird objects. It's because you collect bones throughout the game, and that's one of the collection things. Is it gives you more souls. I can't remember what the souls are called in this game, but they're essentially just your currency.
It wasn't. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. It's not like fake. It was like I can't remember. It's been a while since I played it. I didn't get that far into it before.
I love how like the pixel art is very like grotesque, but then it goes to like this. I don't know how to describe it. Like strange looking painting, like FMV sections, where it's like even weirder. Where
oh, you mean like the zoomed in? Yeah. Like close up sort of stuff, right? With
like you're a Pentium one, right?
People. Yeah.
So this game is set in what I can only describe as like some sort of weird purgatory hell sort of thing.
Yeah.
And at the start of the game, you get like this helmet covered in spikes, and you just put it on, and then just like blood's dripping out. I'm like, this game is like grotesquely beautiful in like a macabre way.
Yeah.
It's like so hard to describe. It's like what's the word when you're like curious about death and stuff like that? What's that called? Morbid curiosity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there might be another word for that. I don't know if there's a better word or not.
Yeah, you get. I think this entire part of the recording is just me finding this boss and dying over and over again until I eventually beat him.
Okay.
One thing I played this entire game with a controller because I started playing it on Steam Deck, so I was like, oh, I know the controller controls, let me play with the controller. I think it's also a Metroidvania game. I would say Metroidvania games are usually like any platforming stuff is better with a controller. I mean, for me, like
playing it, definitely controller.
With Sekiro, I started playing that with a controller and I immediately switched and preferred mouse and keyboard after like a couple of hours on the controller.
Really?
Yeah, I completed the whole game with a mouse and keyboard because I was like massively preferring it, but yeah, something about the controller clicked with me on this one. And
I guess it's more important because it's 2D, I suppose.
Yeah.
For me, better than mouse.
For me, it was more so that I'd already played it on Steam Deck, I would say. That was like...
Okay.
And the thing about Steam Deck is you get the perfect experience because the game runs natively at like 480p like pixel art, and then you can change the resolution to be bigger, but then it just basically there's perfect scaling points. So there's like for me a resolution of 20,120 times, I don't know, like basically like a really weird resolution, but it's like perfect pixel scaling. And then you can also have like 2560 times 1440p if you want like non-perfect pixel scaling, but it'll be in the exact resolution. If you have the perfect pixel scaling, you'll have black bars, or you can just run it in like I think what most people you can just run it in like that 480 resolution, and it will just perfectly scale it up to the size of your screen, sort of thing.
Yeah,
like that's the default it runs in.
Right. Yeah.
But this game is hard capped to 60 hertz, which I kind of wish it was like 60 hertz is good, but I kind of wish it was higher. I don't know if the second game, Blasphemous 2, allows you to go higher. But I think it could benefit from it. 60 FPS for this sort of game is pretty good. It's definitely better than 30, that's for sure.
100%.
I've just become very much used to 120 plus now these days. That I'm very greedy with these frames.
Yeah, I'm still probably like 60's fine, but I definitely appreciate a higher is better for sure. I completely agree.
I guess the idea where it does black bars if you stretch out the screen is so you don't like see too much of the screen at once. Like in I never really thought about it in terms of like a side-scroller
horror.
perspective.
Yeah.
Like the first time I ever played Super Mario, the original one was on the Game Boy version, and it wasn't until I saw the SNES version I was like, oh, that's how much of the screen you're supposed to be able to see. Like I was so used to seeing like a tiny part of the screen because of the tiny like vertical Game Boy screen that that's how I played the game. Yeah, that's not something I think of. So the combat is very much you attack, you can parry, and then you can like or you can block, and then if you get a perfect parry, you can do like a counter attack that does a lot of damage. There's also a mana bar for magic, and you basically unlock different magic spells throughout the game. One thing I didn't realize until I actually played the game, a lot of people that I saw that were playing this game were like, magic's really busted, I'm not going to use it. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I don't think magic's that good. And then I got towards like the late stages of the game and I unlocked some of the magic spells, and I started using, I think I one-shot the final boss with some of the magic spells, and I was like,
right,
okay. I think these spells are pretty strong.
Right.
It depends how you want to play, like, but yeah, some of the magic spells can be pretty strong.
Up
like,
to you.
Then this game has DLC as well. Like when I finished the game, it was like, you got ending B, and I was like, what? So this I think this game has like multiple endings, but also like I think it's designed in a way where it's like it wants you to do it like a new game plus to get like a sort of a true ending. So it's like,
oh, I see. You go back. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're gonna go into this game, you're like, oh, I want to just go in and have a full experience. You might have to play it twice to get like the trend. Because I will say, as someone who beat
quicker though,
as somebody who beat the game, I was a bit disappointed with the ending. But I guess that was trying to make me go, oh, I need to play and get the real ending now. I decided to play something else instead rather than starting it. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big New Game Plus kind of guy. In general.
No, I don't really like them either. I think it's fine to exist, but it's not for me personally.
I don't mind New Game Plus like a while after I finish playing the game, but I think for me, once I've finished playing a game, my immediate thought is not, oh, I want to play immediately more of that same thing.
I don't know. Even like coming back on that, I'm just like, I'd rather play the game from the start. And I just find like what I thought. Like if I say I really liked the game, it's like if I do a New Game Plus, it's almost always like, oh, I kind of want to go back to like feeling like crap at the start because that's how it's balanced.
Okay, so I should explain how like death works in this game. When you die, you spawn at your last like beacon used, and you have this system called guilt. And the way guilt works is when you die, you don't drop currency, but like in other Souls games, you basically have like roots on your mana bars you could see earlier, and until you pick up your guilt, you will always have a reduced mana bar until you've picked up your guilt. So it like limits how much spells you can use, which is really important in this game considering how strong magic is.
It's an interesting mechanic because it's just more stuff to.
I mean, there is like just normal magic stuff. I would say like specifically the magic stuff I got was like very strong. And by the time I went to fight I was enjoying just playing the game so much that I just started going around and collecting everything on the map. So also by the time I faced the boss, I had like all the health and mana upgrades and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. So
I had like all the rosemary
leveled
beads.
Up.
Yeah, so the way you level up your character, there's not like a stat system like a Souls game. You collect these things called rosemary beads, which you take to a woman who lets you basically... You have like a set of relics that you can put onto your rosemary bead chain, which lets you put on different passives. So you can actually change how your character behaves. So there's one weapon in the game. I think there's not multiple weapons. But the way you customize your character is what spells you use and what passives you use. So there's ones that will give you more defense. There's one that give you more attack. There's ones that will, give you different movement abilities. There's ones called toes that are very useful. Always take toes because they're like reduced cooldown on dodging and dodging distance. And there's even a toe that gives you like a movement ability you need to solve some of the Metroidvania puzzles around the world. But yeah, and on top of that, Tony, there's also certain abilities that you can activate at your shrines, and you can basically have one active.
And they basically like active like powers. Yeah,
they change like very fundamentally how you play the game. So there'll be one like, oh, you deal like way more damage, but you can't heal anymore, and stuff like that.
Okay, what's the first one you get? Because I feel like I just started to look like that, but I didn't really want to use it. So
there's one where it laxes the parry timing, but it means your defenses are lower. I think it's one of the first ones you get.
Right. Yeah.
So it's easier to parry, but your defenses are open longer.
Yeah. So you have to parry more, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, like trade-off. Yeah, I like the idea of like more powerful, but trade-off. I quite like that.
If you want to break the magic system, there's a one that makes the spells cost more but deal more damage. That is really busted because it makes them hit like a truck. That was something I was using towards the end. You just call down a giant beam from the sky that deals 1 billion damage. But yeah, I really like the boss design's cool. Every time, no matter how much I saw in this game, I'm like, okay, this is like disgusting. I'm never going to see something as disgusting as this. And then I saw something like, holy shit, what the fuck is this? Like, it's just like, this game never failed to surprise me with its art. In terms of like...
I really like, the style of this game and the aesthetic is really, really cool. It's
skip ahead a bit.
And it feels good to move and play and explore. So it's just a win-win all the way through.
Yeah, it feels great to explore. I love the atmosphere of this game. I love the style. I love the characters. Fully voice acted as well. Great voice acting in the game.
Very weird.
I love some of the DLC. I think it's DLC stuff. You get this stuff called Quicksilver, where because this game had DLC, but it's included in the game as like free updates.
Oh, was it? Okay, is that how they did? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so there's DLC bosses, which I fought one by accident. I didn't realize it was a DLC boss. And then there's another one where I think you need to fight it on New Game Plus as well. So it's for like returning players sort of thing that are coming back. Oh, another thing with the guilt system is, so say for example, Tony, you died like in the middle of an area where you don't have a checkpoint and it's surrounded by spikes. So in this game, by the way, spikes are one-hit kill all the time. No matter how much health or stuff you have, spikes will always one-hit kill you.
It's lava. It's basically lava.
So yeah, well, you say it's lava, but in Mario games, half of them lava one-hit kills you, and half of them they make you jump up and down.
Yeah,
oh.
Spoiler alert for real life, don't jump in lava. You're not.
Okay. You're just trying to stop us having fun now. You're just trying to save all the lava for yourself.
There's a reason why saying the floor is lava is very bad.
Look, I fought this boss like several times. And you can see like slowly over time I'm just like learning his moves and improving. I think that's like a great Metroidvania or even like Souls-like experience, is just
Souls,
getting your ass kicked by a boss a bunch of times and then slowly learning their moves and being like, okay, I know what to do now. Okay, I had this is an interesting spell. This one's quite good because it deals damage AoE around you, but it also destroys projectiles. So if you're fighting a boss that has like heavy projectiles, it's quite useful. There's more stuff I'm just trying to say about... guilt! If you get to an area where it's full of spikes and you're like, oh fuck, I keep dying trying to get back and getting my guilt, there is these statues in the game you can go to, and you can spend your currency in order to cleanse your guilt. So if you cleanse your guilt, that will remove it from the map, but it costs currency. There is multiple ways to get rid of your guilt, but it's like going and picking it up is the free way to do it, I guess.
Yeah.
I love that the using a potion animation is so freaking slow that it's like you will get mega punished if you take a potion in the wrong timing. Yeah, I do appreciate that. But one of the interesting was the DLC was just saying there's this guy who has a guy coming out of his chest, and if you give him Quicksilver, he will let you sacrifice your health pots So you'll lose a health pot, but then the health pots you have will become stronger.
Oh, that's cool. So they could actually okay.
And there's even relics that let you activate health pots quicker and stuff like that. It's quite useful. So the spells are called prayers, which makes them pretty cool. It's a very game rooted in religion, Tony. Like one of the collectibles in the game, these little cherubs, which if you talk to a painting, you'll see some of the horrific things I'm talking about. And
yeah,
this game is generally very good. I think I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. And I was struggling to think of like reasons why it wasn't a 5 star. I was mostly just like, I think there's some slight platforming stuff I think can be improved. And
yeah.
I think
there's some annoyances I would say in some of the platform. It's like good movement, but like from what I remember, is like there's some stuff is like it didn't need to be that annoying.
And as well, I think magic's a bit strong, but I've heard basically Blasphemous 2 is everything this game does but better, and I'm like, that makes me very excited to play Blasphemous 2 because I adored this game. I think it's fantastic.
I was just say like the theme of this game is like a Catholic horror, maybe? Is that a good way to describe the theme?
I believe Danny O'Dwyer from NoClip
cherubs and stuff. But
Danny O'Dwyer from NoClip was talking about it, and he was talking about going to Catholic school as a kid in Ireland, and he said this game made him feel very nostalgic, and it was like he was like he saw a lot of that like Catholic guilt stuff. Yeah, was another way to describe it, where like in Ireland you have like these old Catholic ideas mixed with like these paganism ideas of like they still believe in like wraiths and leprechauns and banshees and stuff like that in Catholicism there, and it's like very interesting. But yeah, you can learn new moves by spending your points. Like there's also a way to upgrade your character, and it feels genuinely really good. The Metroidvania parts to upgrade your moveset as well to get to new areas. And Tony, I had to show you this Easter egg I found. Look at this.
Wait, what?
There's an arcade machine that you can pay souls for to play. And Tony, there's a straight up Castlevania game inside this game.
Oh my god.
It's so good. And after playing this game, I'm like, man, I really got to play. I played a Metroid game. I really got to try a Castlevania game. My current thoughts are I really want to play Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I think that's probably the quintessential Castlevania game on the PlayStation 1. So I would probably play that on like Duck Station, I guess, is probably the best way to play that. Duck Station is generally considered to be the best PS1 emulator.
Yeah, that's the one that people like the first one to go to, right? I remember.
Yeah, people were saying it was very good for like compared to like the Metal Gear collection, Duck Station was just a way better experience.
Right, okay, right.
But this game's like quite brutal. It's like you have 3 life bars, and if you get hit, you lose a life bar, and the only way to regain health is you very rarely get pieces of chicken sometimes in treasure chests, so it's like a very brutal little game, but I guess it's Castlevania. But in order to fully complete this, you have to get to the end, kill the final boss, and collect all these skulls that you find around the map. And you see this purple suit of armor I'm wearing? If you complete this and get all the skulls, you unlock that as a alternative costume, which I think is really cool. As you saw, like
that's really cool.
I don't know if you saw, like before I went into this area, I was wearing like instead of the grey suit, I was wearing like a beige suit, which was an alternative costume I'd unlocked as well. So I think that is cool that if you want to go and do all the collectibles or you want to replay it, there is additional armor to unlock that augments your character, which I think looks really cool.
It's because there's that stuff in the.
But yeah, this I was just so like I had no idea this was in the game, and I was so surprised when I played it. I was like, "This is really good," and I guess this is like a nice homage to Castlevania, which I guess this game is being a Metroidvania game is very heavily inspired by.
Oh yeah, yeah.
With very much the more because the games I play I would say are very much more like the Metroid style, rather than the Castlevania style. But this is very much more like that castle-y gothic sort of style.
In terms of theme, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll skip ahead so I can show you more.
How long is it? Just like one level and one boss of this arcade?
I'd say it's split up into several different parts, but it's about 10-15 minutes of platforming and fighting around.
That's not too bad.
I did this entire boss fight with 1 HP bar, by the way. I just want to point that out. When I killed this thing, my heart was pumping. I was like, oh fuck, I did it without dying.
That's good.
Yeah. If you find this area on the map, I'd highly recommend playing this game. One thing I would recommend, there's a church. Some of the rooms I just never went into because I didn't know you could go into them. But like the main town that you go to is full of useful stuff. Like there's a church you can donate souls to, and I would highly recommend anyone to donate as much souls as they possibly can to that church because it really opens up the game. But yeah, this is the outfit you get. The archaic exaltation.
Oh, that's really cool. Okay.
But it's like in terms of like, oh, it's really hard to get around the map to, oh, it's very easy to get around the map now. Like donating to the church can actually completely change the game up in a lot of ways.
You think that's an allegory for real life?
No, I don't.
No, okay.
But if you're finding like getting around like tedious, or you wish there was other ways to move around, just know that throughout the game there is stuff you can unlock to move around a lot easier.
Yeah, makes sense. I didn't realize that you could. Yeah, the name would do so much. Okay.
Alberto, the new outfit, Tony, the purple and blue.
It looks good.
Yeah. Yeah, let's move on. Let's talk about a game called Dusk.
Another dark game.
Yeah, a very dark, hellish game called Dusk.
Yeah.
Dusk is a retro boomer shooter from the Mad Lads over at New Blood, a studio I'm a big fan of in terms of the stuff they put out, because they're usually all about them retro boomer shootery games. Tony, did you see recently Boomer Shooter got an official like sort of tag on Steam?
Oh, did it? No, I didn't see that.
I remember back in the day, I kept saying Boomer Shooter, and you were not a big fan of the Boomer Shooter tag previously.
No, I would still call it old school shooter. To be honest with you, it's fine.
There are so many people campaigning for that name in terms of like it just started out as a joke, and then people like sort of rolled with it, and was like this actually accurately described it. It's like people are like, well, Boomer Shooter is an official title on Steam now. You can go and complain with the other people who don't like Metroidvanias as a title about that being.
Yeah, to be fair, it is difficult to have like a term because like it needs to be like kind of self-explanatory, but also like not an awful thing to say.
Yeah.
But I think old school shooter is fine. I probably still would keep calling it that.
Yeah. So this is actually the reason I was playing this recently was Dusk just got a workshop and a HD update. So this what I'm playing right now is the HD version of Dusk,
right.
Dusk HD, and I believe it's a game that runs in Unity, but it very much looks like it's running Quake engine almost in a lot of senses. Especially if you see the non-HD version of Quake, which I'll show you after this, when I talk about the more modding side.
Okay.
But yeah, one thing I was saying to you was I love how in this game you can just pick up everything, can do everything sort of thing in this game.
Yeah, you say like immersive sim. You were saying like
this game's almost got like immersive sim mechanics, and that's very much in that design of like just let the player do what they want. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, here's a barrel.
Cool.
Can they lift that up? Yeah. It's like, well, couldn't the player lift up these barrels and build a staircase to immediately get to the next level? Yeah, that sounds cool. Let them do it.
Instead of having you need to get to the staircase with a set animation, it's just like, oh no, here's a path, here's some stuff that interacts.
There's not
with
like
it.
because I think I remember reading like a Steam community post on the game. It's like, well, you can actually, completely run through this level in 2 minutes. And one of the developers, I think it was Dave Oshry, was responding and basically saying, yeah, we want people to speedrun the game. We want you to try and break the game and play it as quickly as possible. That sounds really cool.
It's not broken, it's a feature.
Yeah. Which I think is a cool, like, mindset to have when it comes to, games. I think that is, like, a really, really cool thing. But yeah, it's like...
Let the player have fun.
Almost immersive sim sort of elements, because it's like, oh, I could use this box to climb up here, and then there's even like secrets for that sort of stuff, and it's like it is very much like a retro design shooter. You use key cards to open different colored doors, and you have those big meaty shotguns. There's even you can dual wield like most weapons, and then there's a normal shotgun, and there's the super shotgun, which you love to see a super shotgun. Probably one of my favorite things about this game, Tony, is the movement in this game is really good. In terms of, I can like
up speed and
there's velocity in this game,
momentum.
And you can. I immediately was, especially towards the end, was when I played it a lot, was just like bunny hopping across levels, like.
Okay.
Like this game's like allows you to bunny hop, and there's even a setting you can turn on to automatically bunny hop as well if you want to. So you can basically have it so instead of having to manually jump every time you land to keep bunny hopping, you can just hold down the jump button, which is like I guess an accessibility sort of thing.
Yeah. Seems useful, actually.
Yeah. But yeah, I played through the full campaign in the HD version. I would say from playing the non-HD version, I think I prefer the HD version. They basically went back and they basically went back and redesigned every asset for the HD. It's not
I did see like it wasn't meant to be that big, right? And they went and did everything.
Yeah, they basically redesigned every single prop and every single. I guess the idea was they were just going to redesign the enemies, but then they were like, no, we have to redesign every enemy, every gun, every prop, every single like even like just random JCBs and that were just like stationary objects. Like, no, we have to make this super HD now.
This tree needs upgrading.
You got that classic hillbilly with a chainsaw enemy in the game. I like the enemy design in this game, but I think it's not my favorite enemy design in a game. Like. I think because 2023 I was playing games like a Medieval and H-Rot, and I think I prefer the game design in that game, and especially when it came down to the bosses in this game, I wasn't a big fan of the bosses. I thought that like in H-Rot, when you went and you fought a boss, right, it was like, okay, what crazy shit is going to go on now? Like this gorilla statue is going to come to life and suddenly start trying to kill me, or like there's this giant tank in a football field and stuff like that. In this game, it was like, here's a demon horse that's running at you, but it was like the way it attacked me, it almost felt like there wasn't like, oh, here's how I dodge the attack. It felt like, oh, this guy's got like hit scan, it's impossible to dodge his attacks, and I just kept dying over and over again, and I was like, oh, it doesn't feel like I can outskill this enemy, I just kind of have to keep shooting it. It's kind of like a luck-based thing, it felt like, at least.
Right.
Like I wasn't a big fan of the boss design in this game. Oh, here's one, Intoxicator, a radioactive alligator.
It's great. How do you come up with crazy enemies? Toxic
don't worry, Tony. Don't worry. I think it's Son of Intoxicators, like a boss later on or something like that.
Right.
I
just explodes into meat. That's what you love to see.
But yeah, there's 3 campaigns, and it all leads to like this big boss battle at the end, which Which I think is quite funny that like one of the final boss battles is you fight another guy who is just bunny hopping around while he's basically like a version of you. It's like one of the final fights.
Oh, right. Okay.
I was playing in accessible mode because that's the default difficulty. I did end up turning it up to, I think, the medium difficulty. Can't remember what they're called. Accessibility, go easy, I can take it. Serra Medio and Duskmare. I think I can take it. The medium one was a good spot, I would say, in terms of difficulty.
Okay.
I
so
wasn't.
That would recommend to most people, would you? Or just what you found. Okay.
I think I can take it is just in terms of how the actual stat scaling works. Oh, you love to see a boomy shoot here. That big old chunky shotgun with those tasty gibs.
Was also from the crotch.
Yeah. Oh, from the middle of the screen like Quake. Yeah. I think these guys over at Nibble may have played Quake before. I'm not sure. So I can take it is actually just 100% projectile speed and damage, whereas accessible enemies still have minus 40% projectile speed and 10% damage.
Okay, so it's
So like the enemies attack slower and deal less damage, but playing on I can take it is just like the base damage sort of thing, I would say. So that's probably the best way to play it. That or on a high difficulty. I mean, there wasn't anything bad with playing on accessible mode as I was here, but it was just the enemies died very quickly. I thought like, but yeah. Tony, I give Dusk a 4 out of 5. I wasn't in love with Dusk, and I don't think it was the best New Blood game I'd played. I was expecting to like Dusk more than I did end up liking Dusk.
Well, because of the theme and like you thought the enemy design would be better, or
I love like the previous New Blood games I've played, and I knew that Dusk was very highly reviewed in terms of how much people liked the game. But just like because I played like Gloomwood and Fallen Aces and Ultra Kill and Medieval, and I was like, okay, let's check out this game, which is sort of like started it all, I would say. Maybe it's because it's an older game that but this is definitely possibly. Like because it's weird because New Blood, I think they're developers and they almost always all work on all of the games they publish, but they're also the publisher. Like in terms of like video game publishers, most of the time you're just there to provide, at least these days, most of the time you're there to do like marketing and stuff like that. But with New Blood, they're like developers. They're like, oh yeah, we'll help you make this game in a lot of ways, at least from what I understand, is that they have a hand in making most of the games. In a lot of ways,
more hands-on, you'd say. Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the boss design in this game. One thing I really loved though was the atmosphere of this game. I think that's one of the big strengths of Quake was the atmosphere of the game is like terrifying. And in one of the levels I was in this mine shaft, right? And I was like, I feel like I'm playing Thief right now, like legit playing a level of Thief. Like one of the first levels of Thief is the mines, where you go in and there's these like undead mummies in it, and like the first Thief game is like supernatural, and like that's why I was talking about like the immersive sim angle again was I feel like a lot of the time I felt like I was straight out in a level of Thief, like one of the OG immersive sim like sort of games, you know.
It would combine with the mechanical stuff as well. Yeah,
okay. I got to give Dusk props for having some of the best movement in a boomer shooter I've played. Like it has like Quake level movement, I would say, maybe even better in some respects. But yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the boss design and some of the enemy design. But I do love the commitment to the immersive sim angle. And I love that each level has like oh, you can get all the kills, you can get all the secrets. There's like medals for, you can do a pacifist run. Or I like how pressing the reload button just makes you flourish your gun. Like flip it around.
That is a cool feature.
There's no reloading and boom, he shoots. Yeah, you can do pacifist runs, Tony, where you complete the level without killing anything. There's a medal for speed run. Like immediately I picked up on the movement of the game, Tony, and immediately like I played a level. I was like, wait a minute, I think I can complete this really quickly. I immediately replayed the level and then tried to beat it as quickly as possible and got like the speedrunning badge. Like I think that is one of the big strengths of the game is like how good you can see me. You can see me backwards bunny hopping there. Got that great jumping sound. But yeah, Dusk is a really good game. But yeah, also
just not the best, which I guess is a.
You can throw bars of soap at people and it will kill them. So.
Would it consume the soap?
No. For some reason, I found that if you picked up objects and threw them at people, it would almost always one-shot them, and you could just keep picking them up and throwing them. Like bars of soap were one of the strongest items in the game.
It's not that funny.
Yeah, let's go on to... So this is Dusk Not HD, which is... the
what it used to look like, I guess.
Yeah. But basically, Tony, for the custom levels, you have to play on the non-HD version. It's not available on the HD version yet. So for the workshop stuff...
okay. There's no... It doesn't just automatically work out the box. That's interesting.
Yeah. And I decided to try some of the workshop stuff. There wasn't like a great amount of stuff in the workshop when I checked it out because it had just come out. So I think there was about 10 to 15 like levels on the workshop, and I just decided to go and try something that was, you know, some of the highest rated stuff or some of the most downloaded stuff, and I wasn't that impressed with the Dusk HD workshop. So one of the things, I wish I got footage of this now, but one of the things you can do with Dusk, for some reason they've made it so if you have anything in the Quake engine or the Gold Source engine installed on your PC, you can natively mount it onto the game, which is nuts.
Right.
Like I had Half-Life 1 installed, and I was loading up Half-Life 1 into Dusk. And it wasn't just the maps, Tony. It was like they'd taken every single NPC placement and they'd replaced it with Dusk enemies. So you could play through the entirety of any Quake or Dusk map, any Quake or Half-Life, like Gold Source engine map, and you could play it as a Dusk level. And I'm like, why the fuck have they done this? This is so random. Like, this is like commitment to like, you know, just old school boomer shooters, I guess.
Maybe it's just easy to, I don't know, maybe it's just like somewhat easy to do, but you sort of have to be bothered to do it. That's very interesting.
Yeah, so I was playing through like fucking the opening of Half-Life 1 in Dusk. I was playing like, I tried Counter-Strike Condition Zero. I guess maybe that was broken because of the updates they did to it. With the whole like Half-Life 1 update. I don't know. But I was able to play Half-Life 1, so...
interesting. Yeah, I still have broken them.
Seems to get that working. But yeah, you could load the new Half-Life 1 maps into it. Like, so they were allowing you to load like natively Quake and Gold Source engine maps into a Unity engine, which I'm like, that must have been like so much work, which I find hilarious. But one of the things I wanted to say, like, with the workshop stuff, I wasn't impressed that much because of the maps that I played. A lot of them were very like imbalanced in terms of ammo. Like it was like recommended difficulty, I can take it. I'm like, okay, I'll play it on the difficulty I play on enemy. It's a recommended difficulty. And then I was constantly running out of ammo. And not only was I constantly running out of ammo, I had to use the no-clip command several times because I kept falling outside of the map.
That's unfortunate. Okay.
There was a lot of like clipping issues. Which again, it's a mod, so there's gonna be bugs, but I would say generally from like other modded stuff I've played, it was like of a much lower quality than I'm used to. To a point where I shouldn't have to be no clipping out the map several times in order to get back into it.
Yeah. Well, ideally none. I kept maybe once.
Like I understand, like I may have to use the no clip command to get out of the Half-Life 2 map because it's like not designed to be as Quake to a Dusk level, right?
Yeah, it's just made for a slower pace.
No, like it's not designed to be played that way, right? The game just breaks in certain spots because it's a completely different game. But with this stuff that's like workshop stuff that people have made specifically for this game, it was a bit disheartening to see that's of the limited maps that are already on the workshop. Because I believe these are mods that already existed there was already a modding scene for Dusk. But there wasn't a workshop yet. But now the workshop was added, they were added. So these aren't mods that have like literally just been made. They were just ported to the workshop, I guess. But yeah, it didn't make me want to play more Dusk mods. I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to play something else for now because the experience that's here is not great at the moment. So maybe I'll go back and check it in like a year's time or something like that.
See if it see if it improves later.
Yeah. And I would like to see as well workshop support for Dusk HD. Initially, I think the game launched without achievements for Dusk HD, but you can now get achievements in Dusk HD. But going back and playing the original look of Quake, I get that people like the old school style, but I think Dusk HD has that perfect blend of the old school style while still being, high resolution enough to look really good.
Yeah, I think the more HD, the more modern stuff does look better. I wouldn't, because sometimes like, the old stuff just looks.
I don't know. If you look at this, Tony, what do you think of this compared to Dusk HD?
I think Dusk HD is
it's a subjective thing, right, Art? But
yeah. Well, I from other images that I've seen, like I've had like issues like the new direction they've taken with like the newer stuff. I think the newer direction we saw earlier, I think is just better. Like I don't think there's any problems with it. Like it's just like so much like they made it look like the old stuff, right? They made it look like the same like idea. I think that's like a huge part of it. They didn't like try to change anything.
Yeah.
But keep it new.
Blasphemous, very good game. Dusk, also a great game in its own right. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.